AM. It might be AM somewhere
Right.
else in the world.
So here we are. Good morning, everyone,
Good evening and good night.
and good
Let's go to sleep.
afternoon. Absolutely. Hello, hello, hello. I am Gianni Luciano with Maya Dari del
Yes,
Sol.
hello, hello
Hello.
everyone.
We are here with our book club, Date with Our
Soul.
Soul. Date with Our Soul.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
welcome, welcome. Like I said, grab your cup of coffee, your water, cup of tea. Come and enjoy this juicy topic that we have for today.
Yes, thank you so much for joining. We see some people already on
Thank you
Instagram.
for the
We so
hearts.
love the hearts, so beautiful.
Yes,
I
thank you,
love
thank
them.
you.
Thank you. From um we see Browse Creation, and then we see K Style. Well, thank you so much for being here. And we also see someone joining in, some people joining here in YouTube, and I guess also through Facebook. So, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to be with you this afternoon. We
Absolutely.
are loving this time of the
Yes,
day
it
because,
looks like this will be permanent now.
yes,
6 o'clock seems like a better time.
definitely. We are in the summer. For the
Yes.
ones that don't know it, we are in Florida. So when we do this program at 8, we have to put the lights. And then at the end of the program, we are about to be melted.
Yes, melted from the heat of the light. Yes.
And I'm sure you wouldn't like us to be melted because then we wouldn't be able to come back next week.
I know, right? That's true. That's true. So,
So thank you so much for being present. And well, we have as you said, a juicy
a
topic
juicy topic for today. You know,
tonight.
they're
Yes.
always all juicy and intriguing and
Hmm.
eye-opening
Yes,
and
yes, yes. All of it.
all that good stuff.
Yes. So for the ones that don't know it, we are following again this book that I wrote last year. Is called Alchemy for the Soul, and these are 7 steps to transcend your ancestors' past and all of those memories that we are connected to that don't allow us to move forward in life.
And for you that don't have the book, buy the book. Buy the book. Okay? It's a
Yes.
wonderful companion, extremely eye-opening, and you just will never be the same after you read it.
Definitely. I'm not saying this because I wrote the book, but because of the testimonials that people,
Yeah.
used to write me and tell me I understood that all. And I'm like, I'm so happy for you because we
Yeah.
all must know this. This should be a class in school. Don't you
Absolutely.
think, Janet? Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
You know, and this is why we do this work.
yes,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Because eventually that's what we want. So we want it all over the world, including the schools. You know, I mean, can you imagine how just more aware a world will be when we are more mindful and we understand the process of why we do things, you know?
Definitely. Yes, like waking up this awareness in
Hmm.
children would be the best option to recreate a new reality for all.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes. I see cases. Um, mm, there are many people saying that since the movement towards the new consciousness already happened, that the past is not affecting our present anymore. But I still see so many stories happening, experiences in children that made me think that it might not, but I see it. So that would be the best option, like for teachers, for example, to have
Hmm.
this information, for educators, for facilitators, for influencers, for
Yes.
leaders. I mean, we all should know this
It
information.
would
So
definitely avoid a lot of war.
definitely. So we are here because hopefully these words that we are sharing are going to bring some sort of awareness and wisdom for you to see this new point of view and maybe this new possibility. So thank you so much for being present.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So for the ones following the book, and this is our book club, we are stepping into our second step. It's
Okay.
called the systemic order. And
Okay.
before we begin, of course, I'm going to do my announcements. So, if you have purchased your book through Amazon, we would love you to, or we actually, I'll be very thankful if you get to give us a review. If you give us a review, that will help, the algorithm to, kind of,
Do its thing
yeah, do
and
that thing
open it
of
up and
open it
get
up,
so that more
share it
people.
more, show it
Yeah.
more to others. So we will appreciate that. If you haven't done that, we will appreciate if you can give us a review in Amazon, whether you bought the book in Kindle or in paper.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for that. Second of all, if you like this type of content or this type of information or the information that we have been sharing here, we much appreciate your likes and your hearts and you sharing this information. We are at service here. This is our service that we definitely decided to commit to yourself, commit to this meeting. Even
Yeah.
though we don't get to see you, we can feel you there, and we know that just the phrase might bring a possibility of changing something within you. So,
And it brings us joy, such joy to our hearts. I
yes,
look
it is.
forwad to 6 o'clock. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Like I leave dinner on the table and I run over here. So it's just
And
just
thank you,
good stuff.
Janet, yes, for being here and for being part of this life. I so
And
love
thank
your
you for
presence. Yes.
thank you for inviting me and letting me just be here and smile.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I guess it's time to begin.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes, yes. So our topic today is called the energetic disorder within the family system, right? Because sometimes we see our family system, but we don't pay attention or we are not aware of those disorders. And the disorders can happen and they are affecting the whole system and even yourself or other members of the family, but no one does anything because they
Hmm.
just thought that, oh, because this sibling was the one that my father loved the most, or no, it was because this my father wasn't present and my oldest sibling took that place and somehow was that sort of role for us. And all of these sort of little um, changing or switching roles within the system are not in order.
Hmm.
So, how can that be affecting you or affecting the whole system? That's the
Hmm.
question. And we say that we all have that sort of disorders.
Hmm.
There was so much that happened in the transgenerational of our family system that the disorders started way before, and the new families that are created somehow recreate the same disorder. And the idea is that we can recreate or redesign or put everybody in their place. Everybody has a place in the system and in the world. So yes,
Yeah.
we want to say that because I don't know, have you asked yourself sometimes, it's just that I feel like I'm not in the right place.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, some people
absolutely.
come to Constellate and say, I don't know, I feel like I'm not in the right place. Or
Yeah.
like I'm not in the, I don't feel like I belong. That's one
Hmm.
that is one of the ones that they usually say. But also, I don't feel like I'm in my place. And that's why we are gonna be talking about systemic order.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So should we begin?
Let's begin.
Yeah, let's begin. So step number two for the ones following the book. And this is called
What
systemic
page is
order,
it?
page 121.
Okay, for all of you that are following the book with Maya.
Yes. And it says, we all have a place in the world. Mhm. Imagine this: you are waiting in line to enter a place. There is a long line ahead of you, but you decide to wait because there is something you must do. You have been waiting for a long time, and all of a sudden, someone cuts you off. How do you feel about that? How would you feel about that, Janet?
I will be upset.
You will be upset. Most of us will be
Mm.
upset, right? Or you get bothered, or you get angry, or you get frustrated,
Hmm.
right? You're like, so how come if I was first in line, how come someone comes to take that place? especially if you have been waiting for a long
For
time,
a long
right?
time, absolutely.
So since you were there before this person, you might think or say, so who does this person think
He
he
is
or
or she
she is,
is.
right?
Yes.
If I came or if he came after, he should be at the end of the line.
Mhm.
That is disrespectful. And we start like complaining about that situation. So the same dynamic can happen within the family system. When someone takes the role of another, the others don't like it. And this can create confusion or conflict among the members. See? And we are going to be talking throughout this chapter about the disorders between, let's say, siblings, between parents and children, between even in the couple there are disorders, right? When we see, for example, in a couple that the man pretends to be, let's say, the father of the wife, because those sort of stories happen energetically. This all happens energetically, by the way. We need to say this because it is important to understand that, but I don't see it, or that's not my case, but you might not be aware of where you are in consciousness, that you somehow fall into any of these places in the system that are not the ones you're supposed to be occupying, let's say.
And I was gonna say, Maya, that famous line that we tell sometimes our boys, okay, you're the man of the house now. When dad is not present or dad has to go away. Well, meanwhile the child is like 5
Mm-hmm.
or 6 or
Mm-hmm.
even 10. You're the man of the house. And now children, they take that very serious and
Yes.
literally.
They become
They
the
be,
man of the family.
and that's
Yes.
when conflict begins.
That's where conflict begins. Like, for example, the father leaves and says, now you're in charge, or is about to die. And then
Mhm.
they say, son, now you will be in charge of taking care of your mother. And, since you're the oldest, then you will be in charge of your siblings.
And or if they're the only boy,
Yes.
it doesn't matter if they're
Even
young.
if it's a daughter, too. If it is the first daughter, because the first child is usually the alpha, so it's the strongest one.
Mhm.
So there is a tendency for the parents to ask the oldest
That's true. Mhm.
to take care of the younger siblings.
Yes.
And the child, out of love or loyalty or looking for acceptance or approval from his or her parents, because that happens to women too, they say yes
Mhm.
energetically. So they become somehow
The caretaker.
the caretakers of their siblings,
Mhm.
even of the parents.
Yes. That's
So
true.
this is another type of disorder, and we will be tapping into each of these disorders and giving examples of how it happens, and maybe for you to have a self-observation and see where you are related to this, and see if it applies to you or if you have seen it in your system, so you can recreate that order.
Mhm.
No matter if they don't see it and if they are not aware of it, all it matters is that you become aware of it. You can identify the disorder, recognize it, and integrate it or liberate it or recreate it and transcend it. That's the idea, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we all have a place in the system and in the world. We all have a place within our family system and in other systems of life, including work, church, society, school, and other groups that we belong to. Every system has an order that flows organically. And this is
Mhm.
very important, and I'm going to repeat it. Every system has an order that flows organically. When all the parts of the system follow that order, there is fluidity. Otherwise, chaos and conflict is created. Let's say that there is an engine. If the part, we might have all the parts, but if any part is not in the right place, the engine won't work, right?
Mhm.
So same thing happens. Or if it works, it will have a noise, or it will, turn on and turns off. It will have any sort of conflict, right? The engine wouldn't flow as it should. Well, same thing happens in the system. If there is one part that is not in the right place, then the system is not flowing as it should. Hmm? One of the systemic principles of Bert Hellinger is called the order of hierarchy, that states that within the system, every part has a place and an order of precedence.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
so we need to understand this about the order of precedence. We need to understand that someone came before us.
Yes.
And all we need to do is to honor and respect that place. Hmm?
Very simple,
It's
right?
very simple. It's very simple, but it
But
doesn't
is
happen.
it? I'm like, it's very simple, right? But is it?
Is it happening? Is it happening? So that's the question, right? When we break that order, energetically, all the parts in the system feel it. And this creates confusion and disharmony. So when one of the parts, right, is not honored or respected,
Hmm.
maybe they don't say it, but the whole energy in the system feels like, I don't know, something is odd, like
Off.
it's
Yeah,
off.
something off. Something
Mhm.
is off.
Exactly. So, on the other hand, when the parts remain in order, they feel honored, respected, and belonging.
Mhm.
So, when the order or when all the parts are in order, everybody will feel when they are in company, like when they are with each other, everybody's like flowing in harmony. And no, this and this happens a lot between siblings, for
Yes.
example, when the whole family meets, in those reunions. I hear sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't know if I really want to come to that family reunion because when I get there, I feel this and I feel that, and then I feel uncomfortable, and I just not gonna be there because I feel rejected and feel like I'm not respected, or I feel like no one sees me, or I feel like something is happening when you have that sort of when I go with
Mhm.
my family, I feel like I get bothered by something because mom behaves this way, because dad behaves that way, because my older brother behaves this way, and it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So maybe we need to review how that order is flowing in your system, and maybe it is because um, you're not being seen in the place that is your place, the one that corresponds to you in that order of precedence. Hmm?
Mhm.
Yes,
And I was gonna say, and therefore you create this experience to be seen.
definitely. Yes. And
Mm.
everybody is confronting that.
Yes.
Yes. So maybe I will be talking about this when we get to talk about siblings, because siblings are usually in disorder, or maybe because the parents, told this child to be in charge, and then they are taking this role that it doesn't correspond. So that creates a lot of conflict. Yeah, or dependency or conflict, struggling
Mhm.
energetically is felt. No one says it, but I don't like it.
Mhm.
No one says it, but I don't like it, or they don't like it. Throughout history, and because of the circumstances of life that the system had to go through in order to survive, unconsciously some of the members might have taken roles that didn't correspond to them, and this is affecting the whole system. Yes. So why did this did how did this happen? That's the question, right? So maybe, as we were sharing at the beginning, maybe the father had to go to war and maybe told the oldest, I'm going to work, you're in charge now.
Mhm.
And so the oldest is taking a role that doesn't correspond, cannot be a child because now I have to become the father, or I have to become that figure that my father is expecting me to do. See, so
And they take it so literally, and they struggle and suffer because of it.
Yeah, because when they get to be older, that's going to be affecting this child reality. For
Hmm.
example, they might want to have a partner, and most of these cases happen that the oldest who took charge, who was in charge of taking care of the siblings and the mother, let's say, affective, like it could be emotionally or it could be financially. Sometimes it has a lot of issues finding a partner.
It comes with a lot of attachments.
Yes, it has a lot of issues because this person might feel, oops, sorry, this person might feel that I have to be taking care of them. No
Hmm.
matter how age they are, they somehow remain loyal to the family first. And at this point of evolution, we are breaking from the family system.
And what's so interesting is
Mhm.
that they really are loyal.
Yes.
It's like, and they're not even aware,
No.
So that's why we are here, like to, part of you want to say snap out of it, but it's not as simple.
It's not as simple.
Right.
It is a process.
It is a
And
process
the first step is to be
to
aware
be aware.
of,
Absolutely.
oh, I'm taking that role and I'm prioritizing my family system that was before the one I have now, for example, or the one I desire to have, because I wish to have this new family, but I'm still so loyal to the old system or
Hmm.
the system where you grew up
Hmm.
that it doesn't allow you to attract into your life a new possibility for you.
Hmm.
And it's all unconscious. So we want to repeat this word a lot. It's
Unconscious,
all
yeah.
energetic and it's all unconscious. It's not that you don't want that. We know you want that because we all want that, right? But these roots and these memories and these contracts, agreements, because these agreements
And vows.
and vows, those agreements, that all of them
Very powerful.
are energetically your agreements. So you don't see them, you don't recognize them because you didn't sign a paper, but
Right.
somehow they apply because you say yes
You
to
said it
them.
with your words. Yeah. It's like you don't know what you don't know,
Yes.
so this is,
Whatever we accepted that we are not aware of, we must review.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So that's what we are here for because we want to let you know that if that is maybe one of your issues, right, then you should be just checking,
Yeah.
self-observe
Observe it.
yourself and
Observe it.
observe your family system and what is your position in there.
Ask questions. Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And see not only the family system that you have created today, but maybe you have issues in your family system today because you haven't healed the ones from the system where you grew up,
Mm-hmm.
because this is all about your childhood, where the system where you grew up was your model to follow, or you decided to accept something there that no one has changed and you don't recognize it, so you follow the same, right? The
Mm-hmm.
pattern, the repetitive pattern. And we are working on breaking from it, because the thing here is that today, in this moment of evolution for the human, we need to detach from the family system or from the old, the system where we grew up, in order to connect to our higher self,
Yes.
because that's our true family.
Mm-hmm.
Our true family is not just our parents and our siblings. Our true family is, it goes beyond, is,
Mm-hmm.
more connected to our higher self and to that cosmic parents and our origin. And actually, that's our loop, the loop that we are doing to go back to our origin, to our consciousness. So it is important to, reconnect.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a
Yes.
reconnection, right? Let's say.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
And it's so interesting because as you are reconnecting,
Mhm,
it's so interesting what you bring to your experience.
mhm.
So that's why we always say it's so important to continue self observing. And as you self observe, be gentle, Understand that it's a process. Be grateful because it is opening you up to the awareness for
Mhm.
you to move forward and start the evolution, transcending to live that new reality that you came here to live.
Yes, definitely. And also it's good to embrace the process.
Yes, that's so important, and I
Yes.
say even critical. You
Yes.
know, it's like to love what is in the process, in the imperfection that is actually being perfect. And we were talking about that the other day
Yes, yes,
when a
yes.
friend of ours was saying that he feels like he's so imperfect that everything that was happening was imperfect. And Maya said, "Well, what about if everything is perfect?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get caught up for I don't have this, I don't have that, but that's probably perfect because it's gonna bring you to the awareness to now really have it from
Mm-hmm.
an authentic way.
Yes. And it's also your motivation
Yes,
to look, to search for more.
yes, yes, yes,
Because
yes,
really that's what it is.
yes,
When I feel that something is imperfect, like there is imperfection where there is perfection,
yes.
then it actually helps you or pushes you to the next step.
But that's how you and I are sitting here.
Yes, exactly.
We're like, wait a minute, why does this keep happening?
Yes, exactly. So it is important to embrace the process and
And love it,
and
love
love
it,
it and
love
love it.
it.
Yes, it will become a blessing. You
Yes.
might not see it today, but eventually you will see it. And the less moment where you less expected, you will be like, oh, I know what it is. Oh, now I
That
understand it.
light bulb.
Yes, it's like
Such a beautiful thing.
it is. It also is like a twitch
Yeah.
that happens within you. So all of this information, it makes those little twitches, 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 and at the end you'll be like, oh, I get it. I get it. So we are working on getting there, right? And perfection, well, it's a good motivation to work towards, but I don't think in this reality of the imperfection because everything, has duality, and then we have perceptions and what is perfection for you, what is perfection for me. So let's say that it's like the engine that can move us towards that,
It's
or
intricate. You know,
it's or can make
intricate.
us a
It
better
always
person.
does. I'm like, it always
Yes,
does.
yes, let's say that. So that's like releasing that weight of
Yeah.
being so perfect,
Yes.
and there
Just
is no, yeah,
surrender.
surrender to
Surrender.
what is. And what you just said, Janet, is very important. Surrender to what is,
Mhm.
because I chose to be born from this system with these issues. And today I might be living these experiences that are not so fun, right? And that
We
I,
all been there.
yes, we all have been there, yes. But at the same time, saying, well, I decided to do that as part of the journey, and I'm going to make the best of it. And by having this information, you actually will be able to process easier all of these things that are happening in your life that you don't understand, for example.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
always say if you're
Yes.
gonna live something, live it to the fullest. So
Yes,
you have the full
exactly.
experience.
Exactly. Even though it's hard sometimes or
Yeah.
difficult or it
And you might be
pushes
in the
you.
midst of it right now saying, what are
Yes.
these two ladies talking about? I'm not having fun with this.
Yes, exactly. But you will at certain point.
You will. You'll be saying thank you.
You will be saying thank you. So, this step of the soul's journey is intended to create systemic order. So, from here and on, this step of the journey that we have been sharing is about creating systemic order.
Mhm.
I like to bring this analogy for you to understand this better of the systemic order. The river flows from the top of the mountain down towards the ocean. So it goes from up to down, right? If in that course a trunk from a tree falls across the river, the water gets stuck and maybe it overflows in other directions,
Mhm.
affecting the whole ecosystem. So the same can happen in a family system or in any organization or in any group because
Mhm.
this applies to all. If, for instance, a child feels bigger than the parents, he or she becomes the trunk of the tree that causes the overflow because he or she is not respecting the order of precedence. Hmm? And let's just mention this here, and I'm going to give an example.
Yes.
The ancestors that came before are the big ones, and the descendants that came after are the small ones. Honoring this principle makes the river flow organically.
Mhm.
Have you seen children telling their parents what to do or how to do it? When they do this, they become the parents of their parents. In this example, the order is broken, so the water is overflowing. Yes, so let's talk a little bit about this. One time I had a case of this lady who came and she shared with me her story. She came to Constellate because she had issues. She had issues of finding a partner. She said, I don't know, I cannot find a partner. I don't know what's wrong, but I need to constellate that. So I asked her a little bit about, her background. And she said, well, since I remember when I was a child, I'm the oldest, and my parents had a lot of conflicts. So my father, he will leave and come back, leave and come back. My mom emotionally couldn't be present because she was after him all the time. So I was the oldest, she said, and I had to take care of my mom and my siblings. If I wasn't there for them, then the whole house will be in chaos. And she said that she had to work since she was very young in order to bring money for everybody to eat. So she really didn't have a childhood. She became the mother or the father or the husband of her mother energetically, and the father and the mother of her siblings. So the story goes that they grew up, of course, and she had a child with a man. But this man, she said, no, I had to leave this man because I became the mother of this man. So this,
That's what she's used to
yeah, she's so used to be the mother of everybody. She became the mother
in her
of her
relationship.
husband in her relationship. So she said, oh, no, I just don't know, but I attract these men that are so feminine, or they just have this sort of dependency on me. And I don't want that. I really want a true man, she said. I say, okay. So you're so used to it because from the beginning, you took the role of being the mother. So you attract into your life men that are dependable, just as everybody in your system. That was her issue. So at this moment, that was probably a few years ago, this constellation, she was still living with her parents, and now the parents, of course, were elders. So she was living with them because someone had to take care of her parents.
So you saw how it got recreated.
Yes, so
Totally recreated.
it's unbelievable. So her whole life, she became the parent of her parents.
The caretaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is a disorder. And when she came to Constellate, she said something like, I have to tell them what to do and how to do things because they just don't know. But listen to this, because Bert Hellinger used to say that when a child thinks the parents don't know things, they become bigger than the parents. And that is a sort of arrogance in there. It's that you're not okay, I'm okay. I'm going to tell you what to do. So, see, this is a disorder that not many people see. She wouldn't see it that way. She thought she was being helpful and being a good daughter, but she wasn't really honoring or respecting um, the precedence in her system. So what happens here is that we got to constellate that. And she, of course, during the process of constellation, the experience, she said, you are the parents and I am the daughter. And she actually told the siblings, you are my siblings, I'm the oldest, but we are siblings. I'm the oldest, you're the second, you're the third one. I'm not your mother. I'm not your father. Because these children, even though they were in their 40s,
Was
they still call her for advice, for money, for this, for emotionally. So she had no life on her own. She really couldn't date anybody because she had no time for herself. She had a family to take care of.
she was the caretaker.
She was the caretaker. And so, one thing that I love sharing here is that she called me probably months later, and she said, Maya, things change because energetically she planted the seed. She recreated that order. So she said, somehow my parents are behaving differently. I said,
Mm-hmm.
so how is that? She said, well, I don't know. I decided to ask my dad to drive. I decided to ask my dad to choose for us. And
Oh
so
wow.
her
Yeah.
father finally got to feel that he had a place and that he was important. He
Mm-hmm.
felt like he was a child, he didn't have that place in that system. Also, the mother was following, and they both started to talk to resolve issues
Mm-hmm.
or things that they had with each other or for the house. And she finally, this lady, started to feel more released that I didn't have to take care of all of
Oh,
that.
so liberating, right?
So liberating, but also the parents felt really good. She said, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, but they were feeling like they were seen and honored as the oldest one. And also energetically, she kept that in her heart of seeing them, even though, somehow they needed this help
Right.
as the parents. So even if you help them financially, let's say, you still must keep that order in your heart and nourish that order,
Mm-hmm.
nurture that order of saying, you're my mom, you're my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and you will resolve whatever it is that you need to resolve. It's not my part to do that for you.
Right. Yes.
And so they had to start taking charge of themselves, and the whole energy in the whole house
Change.
changed.
It shifts.
It shift.
It shifts. When you do the work, you will see the beautiful result that begins to happen in the family.
Yes.
And you're like, oh,
Yes, it feels, it happens because this is all quantum energy. One person in the system recreates the order and stays in that order and remains there and be aware of it and
mhm,
honor the others. And that is the work, is that the process planting the seed, we do it in the family constellations.
mhm,
But then after, she was, of course, nurturing that position. That's not my part of telling people what to do. That's not my part of telling my siblings what to do. I trust that you will be able to find a solution.
and doesn't that feel good?
Yes,
Oh my God, to finally get liberated for something, that was put on you unconsciously, but at least this you got trigger that brought the awareness, and now you are able to liberate yourself from it in a healthy way.
yes, and because of everybody got to grow.
Take responsibility.
She wouldn't allow everybody to grow. So
Mm.
everybody was like children for her.
And the thing is that we stay there and we become afraid, and we don't even try to get out of it until the other person
Yes,
becomes so aware, and all of a suddenly
yes.
we can let go.
So the most important part here to say is that we feel we're helping, but we really are not helping. We are keeping the others maybe seen as children, so we don't allow them to grow.
They stay stagnated.
Yes,
That's
and
one thing.
when we say this grow, it is true. You can
Mhm.
see a person that is 40, 50, or 60, but within there is an inner child that still is dependable. So that means this inner child hasn't been able to grow emotionally or financially because this woman in this case was seeing this sibling as a child, or my father as a child, or my mother as a child. And they actually use that word. Oh yeah, my mom now is like a child, or my dad is now like a child. Mm-mm. Let's just like recreate those words, because that's of course affecting the relationship. and you are putting yourself in the wrong place. So we need you to be aware of this
Mhm.
for you to recreate your system. Yes. Makes
Mhm.
sense?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. So let's see what else it says. To apply this principle, you must recognize that there was someone who came before you, and you must honor that. That's all you have to do. Honor and respect whoever came before you.
Mhm.
For you to be here today, your parents came before. The generations are like the river that comes from the top of the mountain. The ancestors were at the top, and the descendants are unfolding the present.
Mm.
Yes, so that's what we wanted to share today to begin, right? It is important for you to take responsibility of your part. Are you one of those that feel I'm depending on, or others depend on me in my family system, or in my the system where I grew up? See,
Mhm.
just observe that in your life. For some people say, I don't know why. Some people is like looking for me, or I become the helper of others, or I become the mother of others,
Or the counselor, everybody,
or the
yeah.
counselor of others. So that means you kind of like the mother or the father of others. Because see, it replicates outside of the system in your life for life to show you where that disorder is.
I'll share a funny story of my dad, may he rest
Mm-hmm,
in peace.
mm-hmm.
He would come to me. He goes, I don't know what these women think. They all come to me like if I'm a priest. I'm not a priest because they would come to share on their phone. And he's meanwhile, that's not where his head is, you know. So I would just laugh, and
Exactly.
sometimes that's what
It's
happened.
something similar. So some things in life might seem like just like everyday things, but no,
Oh
they
yeah.
are really showing you something.
Hmm.
Mirrors. Everything that happens throughout your day
It's a mirror.
is a mirror for you to look at yourself and see where you are. Or everything that happens to you at work is not a coincidence, it's a synchronicity. And it's a synchronicity of especially those things that bother you
Hmm.
are the ones showing you where the conflict is, where the disorder is. And it's not about them, just for you to know, it's not about them, not at all. It's about you, and it's about how you grew up and what happened in your family system that today is showing somehow in your life.
And the fun thing in all this is as you continue to become aware, and something that used to trigger you before all of a sudden does not trigger you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, and
You
you got to
already
transcend
you
it.
got to transcend, and that
Yes,
feels good,
it,
doesn't it?
it does. So it is a process of transcendence,
Yes.
but the first step is to identify the conflict, to recognize the conflict, to say, oh, I see myself doing it. I see myself in it. I see myself being dependent of love, dependent of money, dependent of
Hmm.
something, addicted to something. So what is your part here? See, what we are doing this for you to, of course, see yourself and see your part, and for you to take responsibility to change it based on the information that we are sharing here.
And you
Yes,
do have that power.
yes.
So we encourage you to empower yourself, and yeah, take the responsibility and change it.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being part of our club.
Ah,
And
yes, yes.
And if you
Buy the
haven't,
book.
yes,
Buy the
as Janet
book.
says, buy the book. If you haven't
Book your
purchased the
book.
book, you can go to Amazon, and it's Alchemy for the Soul, and you can buy it in paper or also in Kindle.
And share the book
And share the book,
as
please, because
well.
yes, this is a perfect gift.
It is. It
I
is.
was telling the other person, someone, that if every house in the planet had the possibility to just have this book, because the other day this lady was like, oh, I had the book and I put it in the kitchen, and everybody that comes is like, so what is this book about? And they start reading it. If the whole system gets to read the book, we'll be seeing at each other as, I see what's happening here, I see what's happening there, I see what happened to me. See?
So,
Because
yeah.
everything is going to be shown as much as you understand this information. And it's very simple to understand it. And by the way, there are 22 exercises here that you can practice to recreate that order in your system, in your life, in your heart, because we are talk here, or we will be talking about the inner child wounds, and of course all the repetitive patterns of the system, the secrets and all of that is affecting us that we haven't been able to be aware of because we didn't know it or we didn't think about it, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
just don't think about it. Just think that that happened because it was, oh, my mom's personality was like that, or my father's personality was like that, or that's what happened. But it's not true.
Yeah.
You know, it has something that is telling us.
There's always a reason.
Yes, if something wasn't in order or if something didn't flow organically as it should have, because if we talk about the creator, or if we
Mhm.
talk about, the creator or the origin of life, that essence is of love.
Mhm.
So if you didn't get to experience that love in your system, it means that the disorder started before and that we need to go and search until we find where the disorder started in your family system, that today you're carrying some of that.
Whew.
Yes.
We take a deep breath.
Yes. And with that, we're saying thank you so much.
Yes, good
We
night.
see you, Alejandra, and we see Karen. Thank you so much for being present today. We are sending love
Yes.
and gratitude and blessings to you. Thank you for being
Yeah.
present
Definitely
today.
hit the
Yes,
like.
yes, definitely hit the
And
like or send us
do
a
we have
heart or
yeah.
share it.
Do we have any more announcement about the class that is coming in
Yes,
August?
yes, definitely. We have a module coming up the first weekend of August, and it's called the Transgenerational.
That's a good
Yes,
one.
and this is part of our training program in family constellations. And you don't have to take the full training if you don't want to. But this second module is about the transgenerational, how things started before that are affecting us today. And the most important part, we will be talking about cosmology. It's important to understand our origin, right? And what is the plan for the human? And what you had to go through, what you had to go through, because it's part of the plan. And if you get to understand that plan, it'll be easier for you to transcend it and to actually get motivated to create this transcendence. See? So
Yes.
if we don't know or we don't have a compass, then we are lost in life. We need that. We need to understand it in order to feel like, oh, I accepted that.
Mhm.
And I accepted that I came to reprogram that. And once I liberate myself, it's not just about you and the changes that are going to happen in your new reality or life, but what is going to happen in the system of life. Because we are all looking forward to experience heaven on earth. And in order for that to happen, we need to fix the systems of life, and
Mhm.
the family system is the one that has been more misaligned of
Yes.
love. And
Yes.
so if you get to do that, you really are helping us all,
All. Yes.
because the healing of one is the healing of
Of
all.
all.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you so much for listening and for being part of it. And
And
if maybe you feel,
call to.
inspired or
Mhm.
called to it, so welcome. You can go to systemichealinginstitute.com to check our program, and all the modules are there, all the dates and the value and everything. You can actually register there, and we will be so happy to for you to embark in this journey and to go deeper, because we are here sharing, but when you get to be in the training, you really get to live
It's a
an
different.
experience.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely.
and the experience is what creates the change within.
Mhm.
It's like you really get to, it's like you enter another dimension, let's say, when
Mhm.
you do this training. And
Yes.
so it's just a possibility. We're living here the possibility.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
So, thank you so
yes.
much.
Yes, so thank you so much. It was so beautiful having you here, and we hope to see you
Same time next
same
week.
time, 6 p.m. on
Yes, our
Fridays,
new time.
Western time. Yes, and yeah, it was so beautiful
Yeah.
having you. And for the ones that will be coming or seeing this video later, thank you so much.
Thank
Please
you. Thank you.
leave your
Share,
heart, give a
like,
and
share.
share.
Absolutely. All three of them at the same
Yes,
time.
the three of them at the same time. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Take care.
Mwah. Sending
Bye
love.
bye.